23-year-old blonde kid with zinc cream on his nose walks up to bowl his first ball in an Ashes series. He bowls a delivery that pitches so far outside leg stump, you consider letting it go. Then, in a fraction of a second, the ball rips across you, defies every law of physics you know, and clips the top of off stump. Gatting stood there for nearly a minute, staring at the pitch as if he'd seen a ghost. Today, we talk about the greatest showman cricket has ever seen. The man, the myth, the rock star, Shane Warne. Warne wasn't a natural prodigy. In fact, cricket wasn't even his first love. Growing up in Victoria, Australia, he wanted to be an Aussie rules football star. But when his club St Kilda told him he wasn't good enough, he turned his focus to cricket. His start was disastrous. In his test debut against India in 1992, Ravi Shastri and Sachin Tendulkar treated him like a club bowler. He finished with figures of 1 for 150. Most critics said he was too slow, too chubby, and wouldn't last. But they didn't realize that beneath that beach boy exterior was the most competitive brain in cricket history. What made Shane Warne special? Most leg spinners are erratic. They bowl a magic ball followed by 2 full tosses. Not Warne. He had the control of a sniper. He could land the ball on a dime for 6 hours straight. But the secret was the rip. Warne's fingers were incredibly strong. He did not just spin the ball, he flicked it with such violence that the ball would actually hum in the air. This created drift, making the ball move in the air before it even hit the ground. By the time the ball pitched, the batsman was already playing for a different delivery. Warne understood that cricket is played between the ears. He was a master of psychological warfare. He invented names for balls that didn't even exist. He would tell the media he was working on a mystery delivery called the Zooter or the slider. Batsmen would spend weeks in the nets preparing for it. On match day, Warne would just bowl a standard leg break and the batsman, expecting something else, would get out. The batsman would be playing a ghost. He would sledge you, he would stare at you, and he would make you feel like every ball was a trap. As his teammate Ian Healy said, he didn't just bowl to you, he interrogated you. Many call Warne the best captain Australia never had. His tactical brilliance was light years ahead of his time. Look at the 1999 World Cup semi-final. Australia were dead and buried against South Africa until Warne took 4 wickets in a spell that changed the course of history. But his greatest leadership feat, IPL 2008. He took a group of unknown youngsters at Rajasthan Royals, a team valued the lowest in the league, and turned them into champions. He wasn't just the captain. He was the coach, the mentor, and the hype man. He proved that a great leader doesn't need a title, he just needs vision. Shane Warne didn't just bowl against teams, he picked targets. He loved the theatre of a one-on-one battle. Shane Warne was like a heavyweight boxer. He did not just want to win the match, he wanted to knock out the opponent's best player. His rivalries defined the 90s and the 2000s. Warne versus Sachin Tendulkar. This was the Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier of cricket. In 1998, the world stopped to watch Australia's tour of India. It was hyped as Warne versus Sachin. The story? Before the first test, Sachin practiced for days with former bowlers, especially to counter Warne's turn from the rough. The result? In Chennai, Sachin smashed Warne for an unbeaten 155, hitting him against the turn for massive sixes. It was one of the few times the magician found no way out. Warne versus Lara, the battle of art. If Sachin was about precision, Brian Lara was about flair. Lara was a left-hander who used his feet like a ballet dancer. These two had immense mutual respect. Lara once said, Warne was the best because even if you hit him for a 4, the next ball would still be the perfect delivery. Warne got Lara out several times, but Lara also unleashed on him in the 1999 series, scoring 277. It was high-stakes chess every time they met. Warne versus Daryll Cullinan, the psychological victim. This is perhaps the most famous bunny story in history. Warne completely owned South African batsman Daryll Cullinan. The sledge? Cullinan once went to a psychiatrist to help him deal with the mental pressure of facing Warne. When Cullinan walked out to bat in the next match, Warne greeted him by saying, "Daryll, I waited 2 years for this moment." The retort? Cullinan shot back, "Looks like you spent it eating." The punchline? Warne didn't care. A few balls later, he bowled him with a flipper. Warne once asked him on the field what color was the couch at the therapist's office. Cullinan simply couldn't handle the heat. Warne versus Kevin Pietersen, the student versus the master. Fast forward to the 2005 Ashes. Warne was at the end of his career and a young Mohawk sporting Kevin Pietersen was just starting. They were actually teammates at Hampshire and great friends. But on the field, it was war. Pietersen played Warne-esque shots, audacious, arrogant, and aggressive. Warne actually dropped a crucial catch of Pietersen in the final test at the Oval, and KP went on to score 158 and win the Ashes for England. Even in defeat, Warne was the first to hug him. That was the spirit of the man. In March 2022, the world stopped when we heard the news from Thailand. Shane Warne was gone at just 52. It felt impossible. How could someone so full of life just vanish? Warne was far from perfect. He had controversies, he made mistakes, and he lived life at 200 miles per hour, but he was authentic. He took a difficult, dying art and made it the most exciting thing in the world. Every time a young kid tries to bowl a leg break today, they are trying to be Shane Warne. Before we wrap up, here are some of the craziest facts about his life off the field. The 1900 cans of baked beans. Warne was famously a very picky eater. He hated vegetables and struggled with spicy food. During the 1998 tour of India, a myth started that he was so desperate for Australian food that he had 3 tons of baked beans and tinned spaghetti flown into India. The truth? Warne later clarified that the whole team was craving them, but because the shipment was addressed to him, the baked beans label stuck for life. One final trivia, the heartbreaking 99. Warne is arguably the greatest batsman to never score a century. He holds the record for the most test runs without 100. In 2001 against New Zealand, he was on 99. He went for a big slog sweep to reach the milestone, but was caught in the deep. Replays later showed that the bowler Daniel Vittori had actually bowled a no ball. If the umpire had seen it, Warne would have had another chance. He joked that he spent the rest of the night in the dressing room with a beer and an ashtray, laughing at his own idiocy. 708 test wickets is a mountain, but his real legacy is the theatre he brought to the game. Legend is an overused word, but for the king of spin, it's the only one that fits. Who is your favorite spinner of all time? Let me know in the comments below.